are these people?
This fascinated me. I didn't even know who this woman was. And you probably don't either. Because she's a senator from Wyoming. Why the hell would anybody care who she is? Do you know who she is, Reef? No.
Mm-mm.
I figure no. So, Cynthia Lummis does not represent the American people. This is Lummis. Lummis. I think it's Lummis. I think it's pronounced Lummis. But Senator Cynthia doesn't represent the American people, especially the state of Wyoming. And backing her is none other than large donors, including pro-Israel lobbyists. What a surprise. But before discussing her history with the Zionist Bitcoin, let us recap how she's financially backed and what political positions she's put herself in over the years. So Monarch pulls from Open Secrets, okay, just where the large contributions in PACs. So $2.5 million effectively of the $3 million she's raised has come from either herself. Has come from either PACs or large individuals' contributions, which are wealthy people. That's basically who she serves. All right. That's, again, 77.2% of her funding comes from that. All right. She also gets from the Senate Conservatives Fund, the Club for Growth, Sinclair. We know that they're highly conservative. And then you get into Multicoin Capital, 21,000. And now these are the people who buy her off for cheap. You can see what he says. As you can see from these two images, Lummis is like any other politician in Congress, is bought by her donors, right? Strangely, Open Secrets doesn't disclose her previous source of funds before 2019. I don't really know why. That's kind of weird. But here's what she does, and here are her positions. The four key takeaways is that she, one, opposes BDS, right, which is boycott, divestment, and sanctions against Israel for their treatment of the Palestinian people in apartheid, which we are legally bound to support, though they are passing ordinances.
APAC cash.
Right.
I'm sure it's all over it.
She opposed the Iran nuclear deal back in 2015. All right. She's supported funding for Israel's Iron Dome, as did, of course, the majority of Democrats and Republicans. And she currently supports the current level of U.S. aid to Israel. And I'll bet if given the opportunity, she would probably vote to increase it. So clearly, Lummis is a staunch supporter of Israel, and anything the United States does must be to support Israel's endless wars and genocide against Palestinians and other neighbor countries such as Syria, Lebanon, Iran, etc. All right, he puts an article from the American Jewish Congress vaguely stating her record and public positions which are important to the Jewish community. And precisely which Jewish community is the article referring to? Judaism? Or more predictably, Zionism? Well, we know that it's the latter because they conflate these two things constantly. And anti-Zionist Jews don't get representation at this level, especially because she stated that she opposes BDS right there. We know that, what that means. Right? So as a member of the House, she opposed like that. So those are the 4 points right there. All right, then we have who's Will Cole, her son-in-law. Oh, he's involved. How? Because Will Cole is currently the head of product at Zapright, but former the chief product officer of Unchained, which is a crypto play, but former VP of product of Stack Overflow. That's a tech company. All right, so he says Unchained is where the focus will be because a while ago, from July 25th through 27th, earlier this summer, the Bitcoin Native Financial Services Company was a moderate sponsor of the Bitcoin National Conference, or what Monarch liked to refer to as Republican National Committee 2.0 for short, given the sheer presence of politicians and billionaires, including Senator Cynthia Lummis herself, of course. Now, I don't know if you're aware, but Wyoming is actually a central hub for crypto research and crypto bros. Probably because the land is super cheap out there, so they can buy a ton of it, put up all kinds of server farms, and electricity is probably cheap and everything else. So they just went to the cheapest place they could go. And Jackson Hole, Wyoming has now become like a destination with $10 million homes. Now,
Yeah.
he says, a rancher turned capitalist Zionist with laser eyes, not my hero. And that's a link to Roll Call, all right, where, all
John
right,
Servo?
from Heard on the Hill,
John
how
Servo?
Cynthia, a rancher and grandmother, was crowned the Senate's queen of crypto. What do you mean? So if Unchained, Will Cole, and Cynthia Lummis are all working together behind the scenes, what does this say about the interests of the American people? Nothing whatsoever. Right? So we add in Lummis's Zionist positions on Israel, and you'll see that she's heavily reliant on the crypto industry and Wall Street to spread her donors' propaganda. And by the way, Lummis is the first crypto owner in this. She's the first crypto owner in Senate's history. But how is that actually playing out in real time? Well, he feels like not a good look when you pair that her own baptism, right? Here's one summary from Roll Call saying, quote, the way she tells it, the astronomical return on investment wasn't what converted her into a Bitcoin evangelist who wears her faith on her Twitter profile. She had she added laser eyes to her campaign's account's avatar last February. Oh God, right? And speaks in crypto's extremely online tongues. I mean, she'll say things like "I'm a hodler," right? Which is hold on for dear life. Okay, you know, because they're just never letting it go and never selling it. I don't know how it goes up in value if you just hold on to it forever and nobody ever transacts or trades with it, but. Yeah, well, that's a whole thing about how this whole thing is kind of a scam. Now, I haven't really talked about how it's a scam yet, but they're pumping money in. And we talked about this a year ago, and I don't like to use this guy as an example, all right? But we talked about the guy who self-immolated outside, like, New York City courthouse or something, or outside the Trump trial. I think it was in July. And he had written extensively about how crypto was a Ponzi scheme. I think there was a lot of questions about him and about the way that was written, but I think there was truth let out in there, in that once the money is put into the crypto market, it is then immediately extracted by the banks. So there's literally no money behind the whole thing. And crypto people will yell at you, go,
is there.
No, it's not. No, it's really not.
If we can save the banks, then we can save the world.
Well, that's what the crypto guys would like you to believe. But he said, but like Monarch says, that as if mixing religion with politics was bad enough, what is up with these Zionists mixing religion and blockchain technology? What's up with that? That is. What is it? Is that Keenan? Keenan from Nice from.
Yeah, which shout out for, was it Max put Keenan on the spot not that long ago?
Oh, he sure did, and he did not like it.
Good for him.
But she says, having grown up as a rancher, we always said, well, buy more land. They're not making any more of it. And the rancher's dream was, I only want to own the land next door to me. She said, the concepts of property ownership have always been embedded in the way I grew up. She's a rank capitalist, of course. Just like land, Bitcoin is a store of value. It is property. It's a commodity. It's limited. There will only be 21 million Bitcoins ever produced, ever, until somebody decides to have them or make something that they put more value in than Bitcoin, like Ethereum or any other type of digital made up with nothing behind it currency other than the amount of power that it took to generate some digital key that people claim is worth something. Essentially, she's a petty crook, a thief who wants to legally have more ownership of somebody else's assets, be it land, Bitcoin, Lebanon. What a vile, disgusting, wicked witch of the
Bucks.
Wicked witch of the Wyoming West. I love that. Well, Toys R Us bucks, you know what? They could have issued their own crypto in like 2005 and been way ahead of the game and literally tokenized their entire product.
Chuck E. Cheese, Entertainment Cheese would have definitely been able to out NFT.
Well, see, but
Toys R Us.
See, they're technically already in on the NFT, on the crypto grift, because you have to go in. You can't put money in a Chuck E. Cheese machine. You have to go into, because I took my son there last week. You have to go to a machine, buy credits. Either you buy credits that work on a per game basis, or you buy amount of time for an unlimited amount of gaming in a certain amount of time.
You got to trade in Chuck E. Cheese credits, dude.
Yes, and then what do you get for it? You get prizes. We get prizes. All right. So, but yeah, now what's happening is she introduced a bill, the Senate bill 4912, in the midst of being analyzed, the U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. It's a Bitcoin reserve. It's going to be the biggest reserve in the history of Bitcoin. Is an even bigger scam than the blockchain itself and its pseudonym developers. And that's a whole other article that Monarch wrote about Satoshi Nakamoto and who is that, and another fascinating article. I could spend an hour just doing his show, doing his articles, and maybe we will one night. But the one politician, well, something like that. It is. Bruce Willis is not involved, I promise. But the one politician to benefit most from this reserve would be none other than the woman who proposed it to begin with, Senator Cynthia Lummis. What a surprise. As a reminder, she's pro-Israel, pro-Bitcoin for Christian Zionists, and corporations such as Unchained and undoubtedly bigger financial institutions such as BlackRock. It should come as no shock that establishment pro-Bitcoin articles and even prominent crypto bros and gals on social media never mention any history of her political positions, let alone the fact that the Wicked Witch of the Wyoming West isn't out there to serve the American people. She's out there to serve her donors. Hashtag Free Palestine, hashtag Fuck Bitcoin. GoldenMonarch.substack.com, GoldenMonarchNews.substack.com. Look him up. Go check it out. I've been a big fan of him writing ever since he started. All right. His latest one was about Binance. And I don't know if you've heard about Binance literally shutting down accounts belonging to Palestinians at the request and demand of Israel. That's crazy. All right. He talks here again about, is Satoshi Nakamoto cryonically frozen? And who exactly is Satoshi Nakamoto? And whether it's somebody by the name of Hal Finney, and who Hal Finney is and why it could potentially be that person. Another article about
a guy in Saved by the Bell.
No, you're thinking of Mr. Feeney was in the Boy Meets World. He was the.
That's it.
He was the voice of Kit. Michael Knight. Yes, the voice of Kit also became a principal in a later show. And then a basic explanation early on about how Bitcoin has been taken over by the banks and by the Zionist movement as a way to launder money. So all of this money being pumped in by crypto companies into the 2024 election cycle is having a mega influence over what the narrative is about crypto, how people feel about it, whether they're planning on regulating it once the election happens. I have a feeling not, because it's looking like Republicans will end up taking the White House and probably the Senate, if not the House too. So they've been incredibly Bitcoin friendly and bought off by it, as well as Zionist friendly. So I don't see them really being regulated, but with all the money they're making, and again, the whole thing is a Ponzi scheme in my mind. So they're just sucking all the money out of what's being put in. Somewhere, all of this money is being donated, and what is happening, I believe it's being donated in the value of whatever they value that crypto to be. It's not, they're not actually handing they're not actually handing $119 million over to the campaigns. They're giving it to them in crypto, letting them exchange it for whatever they want. And guess where all those transactions happen? You know, because the campaigns need to cash out of their crypto and turn it into USDC or USDT, which then flips into US dollars and makes its way into a bank account. I mean, there is a multi-step process. Oh yeah, by the way, there's massive fees that happen in between each one of these transfers. And who's getting those fees?
People loads of money.
who's getting those gas fees, those transfer fees? It's a real question, and I don't know who's getting it, but I guarantee you it's nobody poor. All right. Yes, Golden Monarch, Wyoming has become one of the capitals for, and the University of Wyoming has been like crypto research central. They also found a way to funnel it through education and through schools, and that's another way that they launder it is through nonprofit organizations that accept and deal with crypto. Yes, Monarch, hashtag boycott Binance. Again, thank you for this article. Really, I'm so pumped that you started writing, and this is good. Why so low on the screen? Oh, you're talking about this? Because yeah, that's weird. I don't know why. But if it's a big statement, a big chat, it goes too high on the thing. But anyway, credit cards 2.0, well, sort of. Except that you can't transact nearly as easily with crypto, and the fees are a lot higher than with credit cards. Now, if they decided to accept crypto everywhere, like they accept Visa everywhere, and you didn't really pay much of a fee, no, Sean, it's not at INN Substack. It's actually at goldenmonarchnews.substack.com only. He's been publishing it there.